everybody. Welcome to the Midwest Digital Marketing Conference Facebook Live series. I am excited for today because we'll be talking to one of our awesome speakers about a topic we actually have never talked about on this series before. If you haven't joined us before, my name is Brianna Smith. I am the Executive Director of the Midwest Digital Marketing Conference. And this is a series where I sit down with some of our awesome speakers to talk about hottest topics in marketing and the upcoming conference. Today, I have a very special guest, Mitch Canter. And if you want to level up your digital strategy, Mitch is definitely the person to call. He's a digital strategist, WordPress developer, and designer, and an avid gaming enthusiast, and lives in Nashville, one of my favorite cities to visit. His passion is using the wombo combo of modern technologies, which I like that, gamification, and a story-driven approach to help brands and businesses develop their online presence. He's worked with several companies, including Bridgestone Americas, Go Noodle, and Vanderbilt University to supercharge their web presence and ensure they are up to today's web accessibility and marketing standards. And today we're going to be talking about an awesome topic, Twitch, and how to use it for marketing. So welcome, Mitch.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Yes, so excited. So can you tell everybody a little bit more about yourself, what you do? And I know you have some exciting things going on right now.
Yeah. So first of all, hello again. My name's Mitch. I've been working as like you said, a digital strategist, a developer, a designer, kind of one of those creative mercenaries, I call myself. Almost over a decade, well over a decade at this point, down here in Nashville. And recently with the pandemic, a lot of stuff has changed. Obviously, everything has changed.
Yes.
And it's given me an opportunity to kind of branch out in some new things, which is why I've been really excited to talk about the topics that I'm going to talk about today, which is mainly Twitch and how to utilize that in a marketing campaign.
Awesome. I'm very excited. I love Nashville, one of my favorite cities. My sister went to school there in Belmont for a while. So definitely an awesome city. Can't wait to get back to visit once things settle down. Yes. Awesome. So if you guys haven't attended before, if you have any questions for myself, Mitch, at any point, throw them in the comments. We love questions. Or if you're watching this after the fact, also throw them in the comments and we will make sure to answer them. I know I'm going to have some questions because I'm a gamer, but I'm a Nintendo Switch kind of gamer. So I'm not super, but I know my fiance is a huge gamer and has talked somewhat about Switch. So it'll be good for me to learn some. So I'm going to jump into some of the questions I have. So for those that aren't familiar with it, what is Twitch?
Sure. Well, it's funny because if you would have asked me what Twitch is even a year ago, the answer would have been way different than what it is now. Back then, it was primarily known as a place where people would gather together. It actually started out as another company, Justin.tv, and it was a guy literally that had strapped what was then a GoPro to his hat and was basically walking around California and live streaming himself. Basically just kind of a day-to-day vlog, and that spun off into something completely different. Amazon bought it not too long ago, and so it's one of their properties as well. But the premise back then was that it was a place where people could come and watch other people play video games and basically chat with them and hang out with them. So imagine being in your basement, playing on your old TV with your couch and 500 of your closest friends behind you, watching you play video games. But the pandemic has really changed that a lot because now Amazon has taken Twitch and has turned it into something it's very much a community-driven media network. And what I mean by that is that, yes, gaming is a huge presence there, and that's probably the biggest presence that they have there. But even if it's inside of the gaming, so you said that you're more of a casual Switch gamer, there's a community there of people that do that and that you would feel right at home jumping in on. If you're more of a hardcore esports kind of gamer, there's communities for that. If you like watching people cook, there are dedicated channels to people coming in and showing their kitchen and cooking, music production, art production. and even any other of the niche channels that you're looking to jump into, there's probably a channel or a broadcaster or even a community dedicated to that. And it's really interesting to see how that's grown, because as soon as, like, you can go back and look at numbers, as soon as the pandemic hit, Twitch's viewership skyrocketed. And as of right now, any given point in time, at any given minute during the day, there's 2.5 million people watching something on Twitch. And
Wow.
that's not just, you think of it in American terms. Well, there's ebb and flow. Well, there's no ebb and flow. It's a straight up at any
Wow.
point in time, 2.5 million people, with 7 million creators on the platform at any given point. Usually the statistics say they average about 30 million daily visitors to the website. And a lot of that is to the kind of more popular streamers that you might have heard of, the people like Ninja or Tim the Tatman or any of those people. But there are several streamers that are streaming to either one or two other people, 25 other people, very much smaller communities.
Hmm.
And I'll talk about this in my session and maybe a little bit today, but that's where the magic happens. Having these
Yeah.
kind of tight knit niche communities that are there, where it's 25 to 50 to 100 people. That is, it's approachable and accessible, and you feel like, even if you're new to that community, that you can just jump right in and kind of be a part of it.
I love that. I did not realize all the different topics that I could go on. Now I'm just like, okay, as soon as I get off this, I want to go see what the different channels are that might interest me, in addition to the switch that I do. But it sounds like there's something there for everybody, and to find your community, find your tribe.
It really is.
So interesting. So you talked about like the different type. You obviously have the powerhouses on Twitch that are kind of leading that, but you have these smaller uh, creators.
Mhm.
How can someone work with a Twitch influencer specifically?
Sure. One of the things to note about Twitch is that it has its own culture. It has its own language. It's got its own style, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you'll come into something like this where we're on Facebook Live, and there's, kind of a social standard that's been set because we've been doing this for a while now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's comments and conversations and stuff like that. Twitch culture is a lot different. It's memes, it's in jokes, it's spamming emotes when somebody does something right or does something wrong. And every community is different, but for the most part, everything kind of revolves around this idea of, you have the streamer at the forefront of things, and behind them is a massive community. And so my rule of thumb, number one rule when you're working with anybody on Twitch, is that you don't just take the streamer into context. You have to bring in all of their community as well, because a lot of times these communities have people who have been with the channel either since the birth of the channel, which at this point could be 6-7 years.
Oh
um,
yeah.
and these people coming in, and they're rabid fans, they're moderators, they're the ones keeping the peace in the channel, making sure that whatever the style or the aesthetic of the channel isn't being violated by people randomly coming in from the outside. There's a lot of gatekeepers to have to get through in that sense. But the good news is that if you can work with an influencer, and if you can find out what that aesthetic is, if you can find out whether or not their values as a streamer and as a content creator match up with yours, then you don't just get to bring the creator in, you get access to their community. And I think that's a lot of where people mess up when they have to work with Twitch, is because they and I can give you a prime example. I've got a lot more of these that I'm going to be talking about in my session. But very recently, a very prominent fast food chain was going into streamers' channels and basically throwing money at the channel creator and saying, "Hey, look at us! We're in your channel. We're giving you money." And you would think, hey, free money, right? That's great for
Mm-hmm.
the content creator. But they got a lot of backlash from it, because they were basically coming in and throwing an ad for their fast food place
Mm-hmm.
right into the community's face, and the community felt violated from that. And a lot of people, streamers included, were like, hey man, get that out of here. We don't want that in our community. We're here this is our space, and you don't have the right to just come in and throw money at us and advertise. So that's kind of not a wrong way to do it. I know that kind of goes into some of the other questions that we had wanted to talk about today as a don't. But it's definitely worth noting that it's a fine line between engaging the streamer themselves and kind of pushing the community out and saying, no, we're here just for the streamer, we're here to advertise. But if you can take the community in and bring them in, whether or not that's offering them something of value as well, or the chance for something of value, maybe it's a giveaway, maybe it's some sort of a product, then the community is going to be more likely to hitch themselves on and come with you versus getting flack and feedback from the streamer and the community themselves.
Very interesting. I love that it sounds like they've really created a unique kind of style that you don't see in the other social platforms that don't touch my community.
It's very tight knit. Yeah, it's tight knit. I mean, and for me specifically, you know, I do stream. I'm not a full-time streamer, so mine is very much I stream a couple of nights a week. It's just for fun. You know, I do have affiliate deals that I've worked out with some people and stuff like that, but it's nothing what some of these other streamers are bringing in. But for me, as a streamer, this has been my social time during the pandemic. This is the ability for me to bring together my friends, my family, to come together. And yeah, we're playing video games together because that's kind of where I focus my time and talent. But it's a way for us all to be able to stay engaged with each other during a time we can't get together personally. And it's, as an extrovert, it's kept me sane because I have been missing things like this, being able to talk to people and do conferences and stuff like that. But just being able to see people and catch up with them in somewhat of a personal setting. And I know a lot of other streamers that feel that way, that without Twitch, they would have felt lost without their community. And so seeing how, you know, you cannot separate a streamer from their community in this point. It's a package deal. And I think, like I said, it's the number one mistake people make is that with Facebook Live or with a regular influencer, you are targeting the influencer. But with Twitch, you are absolutely targeting the community as well.
Yeah, I think that's something that I find that people who don't game or are not really close to someone who games don't realize that it is such a social thing. It is no longer like I'm sitting in my basement by myself with my thing. It is such a social thing. You're planning, you're with your friends. You are, especially in the pandemic, has been huge. But even before that, I mean, if you have friends across the country, and I think if you don't realize that, I could see quickly how that could backfire if you don't remember that.
And a lot of people still have that mentality from the 80s and into the 90s where, oh, you're a gamer. Well, you're a basement dwelling, you know, millennial nerd at this point. But that is, I mean, the gaming industry pulls in more money than Hollywood and the music industry does at this point. So it's, you know, somebody that still thinks that is holding on to a very old mentality. But it's amazing to see now, just like you're right, it's exactly how much of a social construct that the gaming world is. But even beyond that, to other communities, because I know we talk a lot about gaming, but you know, people might have interests or projects that go outside of that. The social cooking channels are great. One of my personal favorites to watch, and a lot of people laugh when they hear it, but it makes perfect sense once you explain it, is Bob Ross. And I don't know if you know this or not, but the resurgence of Bob Ross in kind of pop culture over the last 4 or 5 years.
You see Bob everywhere. Every once in a while, he pops up.
It started on Twitch because the Bob Ross Foundation decided that for one of his anniversaries, they were going to show marathons of Bob Ross on Twitch. And at that point, it was one of their most widely watched shows was the Bob Ross channel. And even now, every weekend, you can go from Friday to Sunday or Monday morning, and they'll show his entire catalog of episodes, starting with season 1 and moving into season 6. And the cool thing is you can actually co-stream yourself with Bob Ross on one side of the screen and you on the other, painting along with Bob Ross. And so it turns a non-social event such as watching Bob Ross's The Joy of Painting into I'm going to paint along and I'm going to engage my community and have them kind of come along with me.
So, I mean, so unique. I'm actually really excited to get in there and actually start finding my communities that I'm interested in.
And there's something for everyone. And I mean, it does, chances are it doesn't matter how niche it is. There's probably somebody somewhere that enjoys that same thing, because Twitch is a very wild west at this point, because it's been around for a while, but it's kind of stepping into its own now, especially with the pandemic and all the stuff happening there. It's kind of finding its footing in the landscape of true social media,
Yeah.
and not just text and images, but video and audio and community.
So we have a comment from Daniel. He is loving this conversation. I agree. Me too. Gaming's definitely been more social. I agree. I think some people don't. If you're not a gamer, or maybe something you just may not realize it, but it is such a social thing.
It is.
And I think, especially the way with the pandemic and the way, I mean, I think obviously our culture has completely changed in the last year. Something like this with Twitch is not going away. Like this type of, this is something that we're going to be bringing into our lives. So you did talk some about some do's and don'ts a little bit, but are there any other do's and don'ts that you could share right now? I'm sure there's a lot more in your session at the conference, but about working with Twitch influencers, because they have a super unique community.
Sure. I would say that, other than knowing that the community is going to be part of what you do, to make sure that you do your research, especially because you could do a little bit of research on a streamer, but until you see them live, you never really know how they're going to be, right? And the nice thing and the terrible thing about Twitch all in one is that people can be exactly who they want to be. And so you'll have people who are themselves. And, I know a lot of streamers who consider themselves very cozy and very homey, and they invite you in and they want you to be a part of their community, and they play games on the Switch like Animal Crossing and some Mario games.
May or may not play that.
Yeah, like it's very much, and Animal Crossing has exploded on Twitch too, because it is very social, very casual, right?
Yeah.
And then you have other communities that are very much, they're super hyper competitive. They're there to trash talk. They're there to hang out with each other. It's very much like the bro guys locker room. And there are two very different communities.
Yeah.
And if you are looking at just the analytics, you might see numbers and go, well, they have the same amount of people. They're very similar. But until you do your research and find exactly the aesthetic or the style that the streamer is going for, it might not be a good fit just to throw your money at random streamers that you see just based on their name. So take the 20 minutes. You can go look at old streams that they do on their pages on Twitch and see. You don't have to see them live. You can see VODs, videos on demand of old streams that they've done, and take a few minutes and know exactly what you're going into. Excuse me. Part of the other thing is too, and this is kind of a weird idiosyncrasy of Twitch, but chances are if you're going to be working with a Twitch streamer, they're going to have other platforms that they're working on, because for all of its benefits, Twitch as a platform has very poor discoverability for streamers. And what I mean by that is that you can go onto Twitch and find someone if you're looking for them, but they don't do a very good job of recommending other communities for you to join based on that. There's a few things, but it's not the greatest, right? And so most streamers who are looking to grow their channels are looking to other platforms to do so. So you will be working with a streamer that probably has a TikTok or probably has a YouTube channel, who most definitely probably has a Twitter account. And there are other avenues that you can make sure to include in whatever research you're doing. Because again, a streamer's persona is not going to be just the analytics they show. It's going to be what they're doing on all of these other platforms. But the good news is that gives you, as someone who is looking to invest and work with an influencer there, the opportunity to work with them on multiple platforms and kind of have multiple avenues to be able to reach out to their community.
Very cool. Yeah, look at their overall community. Not just one platform.
Exactly.
We do have one quick question. Richard wanted to know, what games do you stream?
Ooh, that is a great question.
I'm sure we're not probably looking for me streaming my Animal Crossing Island.
I do. So I have streamed Animal Crossing in the past. So the way it works with me personally, and this is kind of my schedule. On Tuesdays, my wife and I stream together. So Tuesday of this week, we played a horror game called Phasmophobia. It's a ghost hunting game. Pretty fun. We play together. It's a very quick in and out game for us. But we played with another friend of ours. Played for 3 or 4 hours and just kind of hung out, right, with friends and family. On Thursday nights, I play retro games. So I'm playing through Final Fantasy IV, which is an old Super Nintendo game. And then on Saturdays, I play an MMO, and so there's 5 or 6 of us that all play together, and we do the end game content there, and so we call that raid night. And so we'll go and we'll all hang out on raid night. They'll all be on the stream with me. We all will basically just hang out. I'll hang out with my community while we're hanging out with kind of everybody. But it's a way for everybody to see kind of end game content, like high level, the kind of the highest level that you can get in that MMO. And the MMO is Final Fantasy 14 for anyone that might be curious. And that changes. If there's a new game coming out that I want to play and I can get a hold of it, I will. I do get, as a streamer, I get opportunities to play games to demo them and beta test them and see if they're good. But for the most part, I stream 3 nights a week. I try to put videos on YouTube once or twice a week, and then I'm old school, so I try to put up a blog post every week as well, because I've been doing that for a while, and it's just hard to stop doing something like that. So
well, still has its purpose. Still has its
Absolutely.
purpose.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, and then I just wanted to say thanks, Daniel, for joining. Says he's got to jump out, but he is really looking forward to your talk, as am
Absolutely.
I, and to learning more.
Yeah, take care. Thanks for the question.
So about your talk, so we've obviously talked a lot about Twitch, but what can attendees expect to learn during your breakout session called Subhype Influencer Marketing with Twitch Streamers?
Sure. I'm going to cover a little bit of the history of Twitch just so you can see where it came from and where it is now, which we talked a little bit about, but there's so many more intricacies in there, and it really gives you insight as to why Twitch is the dominant game streaming platform right now, to the point where other people have tried and failed to emulate it. We've seen streaming services, even powered by big companies like Microsoft, come and go in the time that Twitch has kind of been doing its thing. We're going to talk about Twitch culture, which I know I dabbled on it a little bit, but again, idiosyncrasies and little quirks and things that are very unique to Twitch that if you're not sure of, either turns you off while you're doing your research because you think it's really weird, but that's just kind of par for the course for Twitch, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I can't give everyone kind of the crash course because there's a lot of stuff there, but it's something to where if you see something happening, you can recognize it and know what's going on, to be someone that hires appropriately, or hey, maybe you just want to jump into the community and be a part of it yourself. I've known a lot of people that have worked with influencers that ended up becoming part of their community as a viewer because they really enjoyed the experience so much. And then a lot of case studies, people who have done things with Twitch streamers and had great success, and have also done things with Twitch streamers and had epic failures, because I think we can learn from both of those as we try to figure all of this out.
Just got another question. So Lamar, they watch Twitch for music production.
Yes.
Is music production streams growing? Have you seen that?
Absolutely. Especially because live concerts aren't really a thing right now. Being able to,
a little bit.
maybe shouldn't be a thing depending on where in the country you are. But absolutely they're growing right now. Now, okay. Yes, they are growing, but in spite of Twitch's efforts, because unfortunately Twitch is a large company. There's been a lot of problems recently with DMCA copyright striking. There's really not a great deal that has been struck. There is some music services that will allow you to play music on stream, either for free, like Pretzel Rocks. Harris Heller has his Stream Beats, which streamers use. But as far as like actual music, if you're a DJ playing your own original things, absolutely you're growing right now, because it's a way for your community to be able to see you do your thing and catch up with you and have concerts basically live on the channel. But if you're working with copyrighted music, if you're doing parodies, it's a little more of a gray area, because you never know if Twitch is going to go, I don't like that, we're going to take it down. But yes, absolutely music production is growing right now. And I will tell you, if you are a music producer, and are looking for a way to get into a great community and get some good graces, streamers are always looking for copyright free music to play on their streams because it is such a problem. And I mean, now the algorithm will catch you live now and shut you down live if you're playing streaming music, which they should, because copyright owners, musicians specifically, do need to be compensated fairly for their work and broadcast and all that. But there are people that are putting out resources there, and if you're looking for a way to jump in that way, it's going to be a great way to jump into the community there. Great question.
Yes, definitely. So anyone who attends the conference, if you haven't registered yet or you haven't attended before, you get access to all of the breakout sessions, which is over 70. They're on demand. You get access for a year. But so there are a lot, and they do have access to all sessions. But when they're kind of making their schedule of the ones that they want to watch first and things like that, how do they know if this is one of the sessions that they should attend right away?
Sure. Well, first of all, not to toot my own horn here, but I think this is a super unique topic because it's kind of one of those things where people might look at Twitch from the outside and go, there's nothing here for me, but even on like a local level, and I know I'm almost positive that, let's take St. Louis because this is where MDMC has been based for a while. There are local streamers there who have meetups and are in groups and communicating with each other. I believe that there is a group there. I know Nashville has one, and I think St. Louis might have one as well. But where these streamers are getting together, and it's a great place for local businesses to be able to hook up with people that are local to them and have something as more of an intimate relationship. But it's a topic that, because you hear all of these other media streaming platforms. It's different. It's unique. It's a different take on something that's been going on, and it's a new and exciting way for people to see if there is an opportunity to do a marketing campaign that's different and special. As far as anything else, if you are a gaming enthusiast and you're looking, a business owner, there's a lot of overlap there. It's cool to be able to see if there's ways that you yourself can use Twitch as a streamer to reach people. Specifically, one of the coolest things that I've found, and this is kind of my personal lens that I view things are, but there's a lot of churches and a lot of religious groups that are reaching out to people on Twitch because it's a way for them to be able to meet over something that is culturally relevant and discuss things of a theological topic. There's several Discord channels and Twitch streams that are dedicated to that. Not being preachy about it, but just connecting.
Yeah, but they're finding their community.
Exactly.
On there.
Yeah. They're finding community of like-minded people that have multiple intersections, church and gaming and technology and pop culture and all this kind of stuff. So it's a way for people to see if there is opportunity for a business or a personality, an influencer. Maybe an influencer already has a community and they want to start something new. Knowing the basics of Twitch is a great way to jump in and be able to do that, because other than the community itself, all of the technical aspects of live streaming carry over very well to streaming on Twitch.
Awesome. So we're actually building directly on that. Lamar has another question. What are the advantages of choosing Twitch to stream live versus other sites like YouTube or Facebook, like we're doing today?
So the good news is that if you're trying to kind of testing the waters, there are services like Restream.io that will let you stream to a couple, if not all three. I think Mob Crush is another one that will let you stream to all three services at once, and it's a great way for. And then of course I think StreamYard has its own thing where it can do that as well. But if you're kind of dabbling and testing the waters, it's a great way to kind of figure out where the best opportunity is for that. And I will say, Twitch definitely has its own unique culture, and I've discussed it a couple of times. But it's hard to jump in on Twitch as a newbie unless you have something super innovative and super interesting that people are going to latch onto. But if you have that, then the opportunity for growth is exponential because you are doing something that no one else is doing. If you have pre-established communities, I definitely would say to stick to those communities. If you're on YouTube already, if you're on Facebook Live, if you can augment those with Twitch, by all means, absolutely. But don't throw the baby out with the bathwater here. Make sure that you're going where your community and your tribe are. If you happen to see that there's a tribe over here waiting for you on Twitch, jump in, by all means, you know. But go where your tribe is. Twitch is just, it's not the end all be all. It's another platform. But if you can get it to work for you, it's a great platform with a lot of potential.
Yeah, it goes back to what I always tell people, and they're like, "Oh, I see this new hot platform that I need to be on." I'm like, just because it's new and there's people there doesn't mean your people are there, your customers. You got to figure out if it fits for you.
Right.
And you can actually build content on a regular basis.
Yeah. And again, because when you're streaming on anywhere, you are not growing. Twitch specifically, there's a saying that you are not growing on Twitch while you are live. You are growing while you are doing other things to bring people in for when you go live. So you have, most streamers have a YouTube channel, they have TikTok, they have Twitter, and they are doing things on those platforms so that when they do go live, the community follows them over there.
Awesome. Great question. All right. And then my other question, so this is not related specifically to your session, but I know you've attended MDMC before in the past. Is there anyone in particular this MDMC 21 that you're excited to see speak, either live or their on-demand session?
Sure. Yeah. No, I've got a couple of sessions that I've been looking. I looked at the guide a couple of days ago, mainly because I found a couple that kind of intersect well with what I'm talking about. The Building Community session by Jennifer Radke, because having a community is so important, both on the streaming side and even content in general. My community, I prefer to build on a service called Discord. If you're not familiar with it, it's basically gaming Slack. We all like Slack. Most of us have used it in the business setting at some point, but Discord, very similar to it. Absolutely free to use. So if you want to start a Slack channel and are not wanting to pay the monthly costs, try Discord instead. It has a lot of the same the features, but it allows you to build that community of people. And for gamers and Twitch streamers and even other influencers, Discord is replacing the email newsletter, because it is more intimate and it's more live and up to date, and the community interacts with everybody in the community and not just replying to a newsletter. Now, I'm not saying email's dead. Don't take that away from me.
I'm not saying don't talk.
Nasty tweets on Twitter. But Discord is a great alternative if a newsletter is not something that you're interested in doing. I saw the video for content marketing by Tony Now, which I think is, and I probably mispronounced your name, I'm sorry, Tony. But I think that's a great one as well, because we are talking about a lot of video and augmenting a stream with other types of content, YouTube specifically. And then Chris Stone and Jim Fuzz live on Amazon, because Twitch is owned by Amazon, and seeing people do their Amazon live videos, there's a lot of familiarity, because they are taking their Twitch knowledge and applying that to something else. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see whether or not, Amazon and their live services can pick up where other services like Facebook Live and YouTube streaming are kind of dropping the ball, or if even eventually they're going to roll all of that in under one brand under Amazon. It's going to be really, really interesting. So yeah, the community session, the video content marketing session, and the live on Amazon session are all really interesting and kind of cross intersect with what I'm talking about Twitch.
Awesome. Well, I know there are a lot of sessions, guys, so you guys definitely head over to the website. I don't see any other questions right now, but great questions today, everyone. Thanks for participating. But yeah, so head over to bestmarketingconference.com. You will be able to find the full schedule, so you can find all the live sessions. Oh, okay.
I lost you for a second there. You're back.
Oh, okay. So head over to bestmarketingconference.com and you can check out all the speakers schedule. You can actually attend all of our live sessions. There's 14 live sessions, including speakers from TikTok, a speaker that was a guest on the Social Dilemma series on Netflix. We have Shankar, who's a podcaster, but those 14 sessions are free. So at least definitely head over and sign up to attend those, and then you can buy a ticket to get access to the workshops to the 70 on-demand sessions from 2021, as well as over 70 sessions from 2020. So you get just so much content, you probably won't know what to do with it. But make sure to head over there and take a look. The conference is next month, which is crazy already. But yeah, definitely thank you so much, Mitch, for joining us. And thanks to everybody for your comments and questions today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. And if anybody has any other questions, at that Mitch Canter, please feel free to tweet at me. I'm happy to talk Twitch and anything really, all day, every day. And feel free to look me up on Twitch. My Twitch name is Commander CMDR _ Mitchcraft. And I stream 3 days a week. If you want to kind of see Twitch in action, the best way to do it is to find someone who's streaming and jump in. And since you've already talked to me a little bit, there's already familiarity there, so it'll be an easy transition.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much again, Mitch, and I hope to see you guys next week for our next guest speaker, and I hope to see you at the conference virtually. All right.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
You.